107.5 WBLS, your number one source for R&B.
107.5 WBLS. It is time to get down on it. Ow! Get down on it, because the brothers are in the building. Or should I say the gang is all here. Oh, yeah. Welcome, Robert and Ronald Bell from Kool and the gang is in the building. And I'm talking about 70 million copies of their song has been played. So chances are at some point in time, especially in this area, the tri-state area, you have heard these brothers for quite some time. I was surprised that it went back. I mean, as good as you all look, that it goes back to 1974. I mean, 1964.
64, yeah.
What? Now, take us back to what school this was, because is the school still there?
It's still there.
It's still there.
It's PS 22.
All right. So tell us how this all started.
Well, let's see. We started back in Youngstown, Ohio. We came to Jersey in 1960. And then we formed the band in Jersey City in 1964 with Dennis Thomas, George Brown, Spike Mickens. We had 8 members.
West.
We only have 4. Richie West.
Original members now?
Yeah.
Wow. That is over 50 years, and you all look like you're in your 40s, 50s, the most. That is amazing. So it all started in Jersey City. Now, Jersey City also, not too long ago, called me and told me that they had named a street after you all, Kool and the Gang Way. As I'm sitting here talking to you, I come to find out you live doors down from my mother. My mother lived at 357 Pacific Avenue. You lived where?
378.
Wow. Amazing. No wonder my sister has some Kool and the Gang stories, because you all didn't leave the area, because you were still performing in that area in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. We started off with the first group was, called the Jazzy Acts.
Okay.
And then the Soul Town Band. And there was the Soul Town Review was trying to be like the Motown Review. Right. And we became the band.
Oh, wow.
And we had to learn all these songs there was about 12 groups on there, and we had to learn all the Motown hits.
Really?
While playing our music at the same time,
Okay, so out of these songs, Too Hot, Hollywood Swingin', Jungle Boogie, which one of those was written in the most obscure way? Or maybe it was the biggest surprise hit? Because a lot of times you write songs or you do songs, you don't think that this song is going to be a hit.
Well, I'm going to tell one side of the story. He can tell the other.
Yay!
The record company, mid-'70s.
Right.
Was saying, hey, you guys ain't having to come up with no records. And we had like Let Your Music Take Your Mind and songs like that. And they had this producer who was producing Mongo de Bongo. And they had the hit Soul Makusa.
Right.
Yes.
And they tried to put this guy on us to come up with a hit.
Yeah.
Right.
And we wasn't feeling it. So we went into the studio about a week later called Baggies, downtown New York. We started at 8 in the morning. By 11 o'clock that night, we have a Jungle Boogie, Hollywood Swingin', and Funky Style.
Wow.
One day. And most of those songs are one take.
One take.
So we didn't hear from the record company no more after that.
I know you didn't. How many pieces were your band then? Because it looked like it was like a good...
No, 7.
It was 7? Always 7?
Yeah, George puts it, the Magnificent 7. That's what we call it.
All right, so we're going to take you back. Which one is your favorite, Ronald? Out of those 3?
Out of those 3, that's hard to pick, but it probably is Hollywood Swinging because Frankie was on the radio.
At the time, talk about it.
Oh, well,
when you heard it for the first time.
Well, we named the song after. It was after
That's
Frankie
right,
Crocker,
because
Chief
Frankie
Crocker,
used to
Hollywood.
be called Mr. Hollywood, or
Frankie Hollywood Crocker.
Frankie
Right.
Hollywood Crocker.
Right. There I go.
So you named the song Hollywood Swinging after Frankie Crocker.
Yeah.
You better teach
Well,
me
she
something
broke
here
the song
today.
in New York, too.
That's right. The chief rocker, Frankie Crocker, inspired the song Hollywood Swinging. You heard it here on 107.5 WBLS, the birthplace of Frankie Crocker. All right, so you, Robert, you got to tell me your favorite of those 3.
Well, I would say Jungle Boogie.
Now, why is that?
Well, I mean, it was just a group and the way that we did it. We were just filling things out. And then, of course, Donald Boyce came on with that voice, the Jungle Boogie voice.
Right.
And it all kind of happened.
Jungle Boogie. And you know what? The music of, I guess, Celebration will never, ever. That's another song that will never find its resting place. Because as long as there is a celebration, that song will play. That song will feed your grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren.
I didn't think that was gonna
Take off like
take
it did?
off like that.
Yeah.
But I knew there was a celebration everywhere. Everybody was celebrating something,
Mm-hmm.
and but I had no idea
That it
song
would
was-
be, I mean,
Yeah.
it is everywhere. And I can't go anywhere on New Year's Eve and not hear that song. You know?
It's a celebration.
If you look back on your career, what's the one thing in particular that you could say that you're the most proud of?
That we stayed together this long
Yeah.
for all these years.
Yeah.
Yeah, with so many groups that
yeah.
have broken up
Yeah.
or
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, celebration. When we came up to hear song "Ladies' Night,"
Mhm.
you know, and hanging out in New York, my wife and I, and every Friday night was a ladies' night,
Uh-huh.
and we were working on a new record, and we had just got a new singer.
Uh-huh.
Because a guy by the name of Dick Griffey told us that, hey, we was out on the tour with the Jackson.
Right.
He said, you guys, you're great, you're good, but you need a singer. He said, we didn't think about that.
Yeah, we didn't.
And you had the Commodores had Lionel Richie.
That's right.
Fire had Maurice
Mhm.
Wright,
Philip
Philip Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're looking for a lead singer and became James J.T. Taylor.
Right. Now, JT, how'd you find him? Did you have a call?
Well,
casting
We
call?
were working at the House of Music in New Jersey, and right when we started to make the auditions, he was the only one that we auditioned. And he came in.
Really?
He was in the same. We were working in the same studio, the House
Yeah,
of
he was
Music.
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think he had a
Yeah.
group called Filet of Soul or something. But
Mhm.
he came in and he
He
said,
had a-
"How you doing, man?" You know. I was quite Barry White, but it was down there like Nat King Cole. So I said, "Man,
Right.
you sound like Nat King Cole."
Mhm.
I said, "Wow, that's an instrument." And then he became the singer.
Wow.
And then we got the hit. Okay, it was that the Music Award, American Music Award.
Right.
And we had got two hits, two awards, excuse me, for Ladies' Night.
Yeah.
And we were like celebrating. And then we
Yes.
came back home. We said, I got a song.
Song for you?
But then, you know what? It got another life when Angie brought it back to life
Oh,
with
yeah.
the ladies.
Yeah, the ladies' night.
That
yeah.
was pretty awesome
that
for
was
you.
good,
I
too,
know
yeah.
that
Yeah, that
felt
was
pretty good, right?
Very good.
Little bit.
Yeah, I know that did. It felt
Yeah.
really good too in the
Yeah.
pockets. What I'm intrigued about is finding out how did you come up with Summer Madness? I have, since I heard that song, I have been totally in love. Matter of fact, I will tell you when the first time I heard it, I didn't even know it was you all.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it took a while until I found out that it was. I think I was working in Buffalo at the time.
Oh, okay.
And they said, this is Kool and the Gang. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
So tell me, how'd you come up with Summer Madness?
Okay, well,
Tell that story.
Summer Madness. Robert Spike Mickens, our trumpet player,
Mhm.
on the Light of Worlds album, there's a song called "You Don't Have to Change,"
Okay.
and that was a part of that song. And so Spike had been wanting to write a song called Summer Madness. So I just told him, listen, man, this sounds like 3 songs. You don't have to change, and then Summer Madness is actually the end of You Don't Have to Change.
Right.
So what I did was I separated it. Because if you listen to the 2 songs,
Right.
you can hear that it's a part of that song.
Right.
So I separated it, and at that time the synthesizer had just come out. I think Stevie Wonder had one and I had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I used that portamento to make that sound on there, and the rest was just magic.
Yeah, he
we
was up
called
all
it Summer
night.
Madness.
We
I was
came
up
in the
all
studio
night,
like
yeah.
5 in the morning and said, look what I got.
He said, "Oh yeah,
And
you
he
gotta
played,
hear this."
played Summer Madness. I mean,
Really?
Yeah.
he had created that.
And then that
time.
8-minute version, was that like a jam session or something? Because did y'all just decide, okay, we just going to jam out on this one? Because the way it even started didn't even sound like Summer Madness. It was like, actually, like you said, it was 2 different pieces. The beginning and then,
And
the
then Summer
end.
Madness, yeah.
right,
that
the Summer Madness end.
yeah, that was live at the Rainbow Theater in London.
Oh, is that what that
Yeah,
was?
that was a live version of it, and it went in the studio and dressed it up and put the group at the time, Something Sweet. The girls sing Summer Madness, and Summer Madness became an 8-minute
Yeah.
version.
And
yeah,
then,
Marvin Gaye was at that show too.
Yeah, he
in
was.
London.
really?
Yeah.
And he heard it? Did he
He heard
ever,
the live version, yeah.
did
yeah.
did he mention it to you? Did
Well,
he?
he said, he saw things were happening because he was, doing this thing over there
Mm-hmm.
for a minute. Couldn't come back this way.
Right. Well, you know what? Then the Fresh Prince gave it new life. How'd that happen? I mean, did they actually call you and ask you, hey, man, we'd like to use the song?
No, they called somebody. They didn't call us.
Okay.
They did call somebody, the publishing
The
company.
publishing company, yeah.
Right.
Some-
So does
use
that ever
Inception.
happen, though, when the artist calls you to say, hey, we'd like to use your song? Or is it always the publishing company that handles it?
Well, both.
Yeah,
You know,
both.
sometimes they call us, and sometimes they call the publishing company.
Right. What can we expect in the next chapter of Kool and the Gang? Because we're now in the 6th decade. I mean, along with Sexy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what can we expect?
Well, I see. We're working on a book,
Mm-hmm.
on
Oh.
our life stories.
Mm-hmm.
I always say the working title right now is Hollywood Swinging, the Kool and the Gang story.
Yeah.
There's a lot to tell about that.
I'm sure. You know, I was going to ask you, we were going to do a segment called Summer Madness and have you share crazy, like, tour stories, because I'm sure you have some of the craziest stories over 5 decades. You've got to have experienced just about everything.
Like Dickie Diamond and the Delphonics and the
Yeah.
Intruders. It'll be in the book.
And
the
Teddy
story.
Powell.
Yeah,
Teddy Powell,
there's Kool and the Gang groupies, I'm sure, all over the place.
And the other
So,
thing will be a musical, hopefully.
Yeah.
really,
It's a celebration.
It's
the
a
music
celebration.
of Kool and Gang.
that would be awesome.
And also a younger version of ourselves called Kool Baby Brother Band. And
Right.
went back and we recorded our music all over again.
Well, it would be important, too, to tell your story, too. I mean, I think that would be very important. Now, they have the Jersey Boys that's been running on Broadway for some time now.
Yeah.
It would be good to see some the gang, on Broadway as well, and find out your story and how you all came to prominence from Old Jersey City, Pacific Avenue.
Pacific Avenue.
Wow,
on the corner.
represent. All right, make sure you get your tickets to see them. They're going to be live at Coney Island on the boardwalk, the amphitheater, with the Time and Bootsy Collins, as well as Dougie Fresh. That's our very own Dougie Fresh. But tomorrow they're going to be with Lenny Green and the Quiet Storm Live. And anything you want to tell us what you're going to do tomorrow night?
Well, we're just going to hang out with Lenny.
Right.
He got that voice. He was like the late Von Hopper.
Yes,
who
my
just
radio
passed.
daddy
Yeah.
taught him very, very well.
Oh, yeah.
So what we'll do right now, we'll get down on it, and we'll thank you for coming out and talking to us today.
Thank you.
Anytime you want to stop on by, you're welcome to come on, step in here, and get it too hot in the studio. Kool and the Gang, y'all.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing.